In this day and age, one of the favorite pastimes of movie fans is theorizing on the internet. With so many big projects being produced under the watchful eye of social media users, everyone's got a hypothesis of what might happen in the latest Hollywood blockbuster. Speculating sure is fun, but there are times when it doesn't amount to anything. Learn why it's always important to keep those grains of salt handy in our video on 10 movie theories that fans or the internet were completely wrong about. Warning: this video will contain spoilers for Captain America: Civil War and Batman vs. Superman.
Hold on to your butts.
Batman vs. Superman. With the DCEU introducing viewers to a grizzled, experienced Batman, it's evident that this Dark Knight has been through a lot and lost some allies along the way. The marketing made it clear that Jason Todd's Robin had been killed at some point, but some reports indicated that Gotham's police commissioner Jim Gordon was also gone by the time the film started. Thankfully, that wasn't true, and the character will appear in Justice League, played by Oscar winner J.K. Simmons. Gordon is such an icon in Batman lore, it would be a waste if the DCEU never featured him at all. Batman vs. Superman. Zack Snyder drew some criticisms for his take on Superman's nemesis Lex Luthor, but there could have been even more outcries if some of the rumors about the character proved to be true. It was speculated that Jesse Eisenberg's Lex was living on the streets at age 14 and was overseeing a street gang at 50. He was also allegedly into tattoos and had a sleeve of the Metropolis skyline down his arm. In actuality, Lex inherited LexCorp after his father died and looked to develop anti-Kryptonian technology. Fans were already turned off by Eisenberg's little quirks, so who knows what the reaction to a tatted-up, street-smart Lex would have been. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Luke Skywalker was noticeably absent from all the marketing materials for this anticipated sequel, and many fans were wondering why. Some theorized that the original trilogy hero had succumbed to the dark side, and Disney was saving that as a massive reveal for the final film. A popular belief was that Luke had become Kylo Ren, and the announcement of Adam Driver's casting was just an elaborate bait and switch. Turns out, Luke is still a Jedi Knight, and the reason for him not being in any trailers was that he's just in one scene, the last one. That would have been a big spoiler to share in promotional materials. James Bond. Longtime James Bond fans are familiar with one of the more famous internet theories. James Bond is actually a codename given to different individuals.
What are you talking about?
This explains why the character changes physical appearance every so often and is still a relatively young man 50 years into his career.
What did you say you did for a living?
Yet evidence proves this to be false. A scene in Skyfall depicts Bond's childhood home, where the tombstones of his parents are present. Both mother and father are named Bond, meaning that's 007's real name. As for why he keeps telling it to everyone, we'll leave that up to you. Jurassic World. It wasn't enough for Jurassic Park fans that Hollywood's new favorite leading man Chris Pratt was starring in Jurassic World. They had to craft a whole backstory for his new character. Some believe that Pratt's Owen is an adult version of the child Dr. Alan Grant terrorizes with a raptor claw in the original film. The proof is that Grant told the boy to show the raptors respect, and Owen has a line in Jurassic World where he mentions his relationship with the raptors is based on respect. It's a stretch, and there's no further evidence in the film that supports it. This one's most likely wishful thinking. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Back when the basic plot to Episode 7 was unknown, fans were left to their own devices to concoct a story.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
One bit of speculation proposed that Kylo Ren was trying to resurrect the villain Darth Vader since he idolized the Dark Lord so much, and the heroes would have to work to stop that from happening. Bringing people back from the dead doesn't appear to be in Kylo's plans, as he just craves the power of the dark side. In the end, it's good this was false. Vader's an intricate part of Star Wars history, but it's time for the new generation to shine. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ever since Ferris, Cameron, and Sloan made Chicago their playground, moviegoers have had one question: which specific day did they take off? Using the information from the Cubs game the trio attends, fans have pointed to June 5th, 1985 as the exact date, but that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
There's a famous sequence where Ferris sings during the Von Steuben Day Parade, which is typically held on or around September 17th, not in June. This means that the June 5th, 1985 theory is incorrect, and John Hughes just devised a composite day for the purposes of his film, which is just fine by us. The Dark Knight Rises. The finale of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy was no stranger to the rumor mill as anticipation heated up. A leaked set photo teased a potential plot development that never came to be. It depicted a green-screened pit in the desert, and some thought that the image was showing the Lazarus Pit, which in the comics brought Ra's al Ghul back to life. In the end, there was a pit in The Dark Knight Rises, but it was Bane's torturous underground prison, and not of the Lazarus variety. Since Nolan's franchise was steeped in reality, a magic pit always seemed like a far-fetched inclusion. Captain America: Civil War. Audiences met Hawkeyes Family in Avengers: Age of Ultron. and some thought they could be brought back for a tragic return in Civil War. Reports indicated that the villain Crossbones, played by Frank Grillo, would murder Hawkeye's wife and children, leading to a fight between Crossbones and the sharpshooter. Hawkeye would eventually win by killing his enemy with 4 arrows, one for each dead family member. Civil War was heavy enough as it was, with collateral damage and superhero guilt complexes. The last thing we needed was the death of an entire family, so it's good this was false. Captain America Civil War. Since the third Captain America film was a loose adaptation of the Civil War comic, many were curious to see how far the Russos would go in bringing the panels to life. The famous story arc ends with the death of Steve Rogers, and there were rumors suggesting the Civil War movie would be bookended by funeral scenes. This led many to believe that Rogers would perish on the big screen, before a triumphant revival in a later film. But when the credits rolled, the Star-Spangled Man was still alive. Hiding in Wakanda is a fugitive. Chris Evans is so great in the role, we're happy he's sticking around. Those are our picks for movie theories the internet got wrong. Are there any we missed? Which ones are your favorites? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to Screen Rant for more fun videos like this one.